Happy New Year. This could all go horribly wrong at any minute. Hello there and welcome to the 248th edition of Louis Black's Rantcast, entitled America is His Coloring Book. Yes, I've just found yet another metaphor really to try to throw out there, to try to comprehend, to try to give myself some space to back off from what is truly another year of psychosis and beyond anything I had ever imagined in my youth, or even 10 years ago, or 20, or even when he was president the first time. It's just beyond belief that it is all about him all day, 24 hours a day. He doesn't care. He's up. He's ready to go. He's always on it. He's always on his Truth Social, telling us exactly what he thinks. He doesn't really like to talk to us. He likes to go to big crowds, but even now he's not going to about big crowds. I'm not going to go to that, And it's been some year. It's just been a year, really, of him. He doesn't believe in the lines. He doesn't color between the lines. He takes his crayons out and just goes wherever he wants to go with them because it's his coloring book. We are a part of his coloring book. He cannot stay between the lines. It's a good thing he didn't make the flag. If he made the flag, it would be the red, the white, and the blue would all blend over. Then it would be green, and it would be envy for those who are a little more comfortable than he is, because the only way he's comfortable is to take, on a daily basis, somebody is, terrible, somebody is awful. Whole groups of people are awful. I just read again, I'm sitting here getting ready to do this, and that, he had to take a moment to tell us that Europe was engaged, going to align. We were going to be aligned. Our country was going to be aligned. Our country, it's his idea. But as a result, he's dragging us into it. That our country was going to be having problems, was going to align itself, with parties in Europe that really were trying to maintain the Europe as a European entity, because a lot of these countries, soon there would just be more people coming from other countries to live there, and it wouldn't be European anymore. And what the fuck? That's what the world is about. It is what we were trying to teach from the beginning. It is part of the it's in a sense a part of the Constitution. It's a part of our fucking fabric as a people. Okay? Give us, bring them in, because the whole fucking idea is that all men are created equal. Everybody, the whole planet, all right? Didn't just stop at the borders, okay? I know you think it stopped at the borders because you don't read, and so, and you don't seem to have empathy, and it's not even a question of reading. Let's drop that. It's empathy, okay? The fact that you don't know how we were meant to be, it has to do with empathy. It also means that you have not read about what any of these guys were saying, who also went to Europe really not to learn, as opposed to you, who you're going to tell them what to do. Oh, yes, we are, because we're going to have to come up with the most beautiful word ever, tariffs, because they've been fucking us. They've been fucking us so severely that we're going to come up with a way to fuck ourselves. We're going to show you. We are going to show you. It's unbelievable. It has been some fucking year. He did this, then he did that, then he did this, then he did that, then he woke up in the middle of the night. 100 tweets on Christmas. 100 tweets. Fucking, it's the day in which, Christians, and he's such a Christian. Oh boy, he's a super Christian, and that's with a capital K, and he is such a super Christian that he had to send out all of these tweets, and I would love to read those tweets, but I'm not going to spend the whole time here reading those tweets, because you know what the tweets are. I don't like this, I don't like that, because he was tweeting every day, and she's awful, and he's awful, and they're awful, and they couldn't be worse, and boy, those Somalis, oh man, let us get after them, because they have really destroyed Minnesota. Minnesota is, really been ruined, taken advantage of. They're all out there. Every one of them's a criminal. Every one of them's a fraudster. Every one of them is committing fraud all the time, and he's going after that. And then he decided that football was not football, and then he decided, because our football, this shouldn't be called football, okay? It should be called something else, because we don't use our feet, we use our hands. Guy, I'm so glad he pointed that out, And then he renamed this, and he wants to rename that, and he stopped the war he's going to stop the war. He stopped the war here, and he stopped the war there, and then he stopped the war over there, and then he stopped. I can't even list the wars that he thinks he stopped because none of them have stopped. All right? I want to get this thing done. Then he said he was going to get the Ukraine and Russia to get. It's just we're moments away. No, we're not moments away. Not even close to moments away. I'd love to believe we're moments away. I'd like to wake up tomorrow and be moments away. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be some way to almost stumble into the new year with the two of them, with those two countries agreeing after one country debated because he has got his. He is so into where the Russians are coming. He doesn't give a fuck about himself. That's all he cares about is himself. All right? All he has to say is, I did it, I did it, I did it, I did it, I did it. And he didn't do it. And he hasn't done it in Gaza. It's still a nut house. And then Netanyahu shows up. And what a good partner to have, huh? Somebody who's just as bull fucking crazy, bull moose loose crazy. I don't even know what I'm looking at myself to try to give myself a second to figure that out. He's mad as a fucking hatter, all right? Bull goose loony. That's the word I was looking for. He's bull goose loony. Okay, and then he did this, and then he was going to go there, and he got some money from Qatar so he could get that not even money is. They gave him a $400 million plane to be the plane that would become Air Force One. And where is that now? And is he going to just take it with him when he's done with being the president? I mean, maybe he'll just leave next year and fly his plane around and tell the world. Maybe he will think by then that he's the emperor of the world, which is not that far-fetched, really, when you think about what he did. Then he did that, and then he did this, and then he did that. And I try to say what he did because I cannot keep up with the amount of stuff that he thinks that he did. And then he renamed the Kennedy Center. Well, he didn't. The people that he picked, I think, they're the ones who chose to rename it the Trump Kennedy Center. Is anybody going to stand up at some fucking point? And then nobody. They kind of go. The Democrats might as well have. I mean, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I would rather listen to Chuck Schumer, chewing on granola or oatmeal, whatever, and as opposed to what's coming out of his mouth. It's getting us nowhere. Nowhere. There's no. Hey, stop it. This is beyond belief. This is disturbing. Stand on the White House, stand on the goddamn steps of the goddamn Congress before it goes in. And then they shut it down. They shut down Congress. They all shut down Congress. And then the Democrats decide, well, we're going to open it again because we really didn't get what we want, and we want people to show that we're going to get this and that. I mean, how in the name of God does this all occur? Okay? And he is as appalling as anyone has ever been. And you can't get somebody to stand up and finally go, this is it. It is shameful. You wouldn't allow your children to talk the way he's talking about other human beings. You wouldn't allow him to do that. You wouldn't allow your kid to do that, I mean. And we shouldn't allow him to do it. Why? You don't do this in front of kids. You don't want your kids to do it, and you don't, or unless you're crazy. And then you would punish your children if they acted the way he acts, and if they were saying the shit that he's saying, okay? And then he was going to do this, and then he was going to do that, and he's going to fix up. He's going to get health care right on track because that's what he does. He gets this stuff because he's got such a solid mind, such a solid business. And then he was going to fix the amount of money we're paying for drugs. It's going to be great. We'll never have to worry about any drugs. He'll throw them at us. He will stand there like he threw the paper towels in Puerto Rico. He will throw every possible drug. He will get on a truck going across the country, throwing drug after drug after drug out of the back of it, just so that. And then he said, and then he did, and then he what, and then he wondered, and then he did, and then he said, and then he went down to Mar-a-Lago and talked to some people, and God knows how much money he made yesterday, and God knows how much money he made the day before, and God knows how much money he's going to make tomorrow, and God knows what it is, and can we add that high? And now he's back together with his pal, Mr. Doge, Mr. Elon Musk, and boy, he was going to fix everything. Because what we're going to do is just throw people out of their offices in the government. And what did that do? It didn't do anything. It's done nothing. And meanwhile, we don't have to worry about vaccinations anymore, because that's going to be cleared up, because everybody will have measles, and then nobody will get measles because everybody will have had it. We have cases of measles. We've gotten rid of it. It was non-existent. It was non-existent. It was non-existent. And for the 100 people, 1,000 people, 2,000 people, that there was a problem if they'd gotten the shot. We are exchanging that. And should we? No, is it wrong? We can argue that moral question. We're not even arguing the question. We're just saying the fact that we'd gotten rid of it already should have been a step in the right direction for going back and saying, no, you know what, we're gonna let the herd thing work, and I not the herd mentality, but that's what in part it is when they. How is it allowed? How does this go on? And we're not going to give enough money to do research on anything anymore. And there's all of these wind farms, and he's going to shut those down because he's got a better plan for energy, because now we've got big, beautiful coal. That's what he told us. And then he told us that the coal would be the most beautiful thing on earth. And then he said that the gas prices were dropping below a certain price, because he's basically just kind of telling us over and over again the things that he believes are important. This has been a brutal year. I do Cameos. The money that I do from the Cameos, you should know, goes to a variety of charities that I believe in. And let's go through them for a second, because they're way more important than what this bimbo is doing, and because money is not going to where it should be going. The Love You Project, which deals with mental health. It's an extraordinary group. It is young, energetic, and really should take a look at it. The Love You Project.net, I believe it is, or .org. You should take a look at the 52nd Street Project. You should take a look at some of the work being done by the ACLU. I know many of you don't agree with some of what they do. Doesn't matter. There's a lot of what they do is vital, and it's important. And I can go on and on and on. There's homes for the soldiers. I'm ludicrous. I can't think of the name of it. But I send money to them through Cameo. And I got into talking about it because the folks who are sending in these things, all of them, literally a third of them are about to for me to talk to someone who's had a tough year. I'd say a third of the country's had a tough year from the basis of what I'm doing. And why can't I say that? Considering he said, it's 300,000 and 600,000, 900,000, 1,200,000. We did this thing yesterday, and here's another number I'm going to just tell you, because I haven't really gone to anybody. Nobody really told me. There was somebody yesterday who said something, and I remembered the number, but then I forgot it, but I'm going to make one up anyway. And that's the way he works. And that is the way we have become. And it's all done in our name. Blow up this, blow up that. Shit has been blown up, okay? Boats blown up. No investigation, no nothing. Guys running around with masks in our country, supposedly collecting criminals, who have gotten into the country because it's rapists and murderers and people who are just crazy, let out of the asylums to run free in our country. They were let in by people, just let in. We just allowed this to happen. And so he's going to go after all of them in our name. And so they just do things in front of people, in front of children, in front of children, in front of children. They go into a school, they grab a teacher, they grab a child, they don't give a shit. It's all done indiscriminately. There's no kind of a legal paper involved. And meanwhile, shit has occurred that to me is, I think, against the law. It would seem it's against the law. It would seem that the judge's rulings have been, this is against the law. This is something you can't do. No, we have to wait till it gets to the Supreme Court. In the meantime, these people get away with it. If nothing else, we should learn from this that if a lower court makes a ruling that something should be done, while while we're deliberating whether it moves on to the next court, to hold accountable the people who did it. I can't keep up with it. I can't keep up with it all. It's beyond belief. And I just started it somewhere else, and I ended up someplace. And I don't know how I got there, and I can't go back because this thing I record from is not as brilliant as it should be. And I should be able to stop, go back, see, so I can edit it while we're going along. But no, that doesn't work that way. Why should anything work the way I want it to work? It only works the way he wants it to work, because he can just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. He's got a whole bunch of people running around behind him, wiping his ass. He shits wherever he wants, and they just wipe his ass, you know? And he's drawing between the lines. He doesn't give a fuck about that. He's drawing, he doesn't care. He goes over the lines, I'm sorry, not between them, goes over them. Lines mean nothing to him. None. Not a thing. He has his own agenda, and that's what really matters. He's got a grudge, and he's got greed. And God damn it, he's going to operate that way. And we're going to have, at the Trump Kennedy Center, we're going to have armrests that are made out of marble, because there's nothing more comfortable than a marble armrest. The money goes there. The money goes to a ballroom. I'm going to make a ballroom, biggest ballroom. It's going to be a great ballroom. They allow him to go around and write whatever the fuck he wants to write under the pictures of the presidents that are there. Really, because he's the one who's going to comment on him. A man who has no sense of history. None. Whatsoever. Except whatever it is that he remembers. Whatever he remembers. And nobody out there, because the education in the course of my lifetime has gotten worse and worse and worse. So there are tons of people who don't know when shit comes out of his mouth that it is based on nothing but what he believes. And that's enough of this. Okay? I'm going to read you one thing here, which kind of goes along with what we've been talking about. Let's end with this, and then I got a couple more things to say. The State Department is denying visas to foreigners who have worked as fact checkers. That's right. A directive leaked to Reuters instructs staff to thoroughly explore applicants' employment histories. That's right. Fact checkers. And rule ineligible anyone who has worked in content moderation, fact checking, or identifying misinformation. Anybody who's done that shouldn't be allowed into the country, okay? That's right. Denying the visas to somebody who wants to know what the fucking facts, somebody who studied the facts, and somebody who's identified misinformation. They have to stop using that word. I'm tired of saying this one because nobody's listening to me anyway, so they just stop saying misinformation. Okay, it kind of implies a mistake was made. No mistake was made. It's called a fucking lie. And he doesn't care what comes out of his mouth. All right? There has to be some sort of sense that you give a shit about what's coming out of your mouth, and he doesn't. He just, whatever is convenient to him to make up, and he does. And he did it in that last speech. I've got a thing here I could just read from that 15-minute speech that he did, in which parts of it just made the fuck stuff up. Just makes it up. And anybody who might be able to help us in terms of this, we're not going to let them in the country. It's unbelievable. It's perfect. A State Department official said the Trump administration does not support aliens coming to the United States to work as censors, muzzling Americans. To know what facts are is not muzzling. Okay? It isn't. Facts are fucking facts. Look what the word means up. Okay? All right? And there are people, and I fully believe this, somebody who's made up facts over and over and over again and considers themselves wants to run for office. No, you get to do it 3 times. Okay, that's it. Shouldn't get to do it at all, but I'll give you 3 times and then you're done. You don't get to be involved with any kind of decision making. You fucking to believe that fact checking is muzzling. Huh? Who decides what the facts are? You? That's what he decided. That's his feeling. He's the only one whose opinion fucking counts. A whole year of it. A whole year of it being shoved down our throats. A whole year of it. And some of them, and there are people who don't give a damn. They just keep their mouths are wide open. And they'll take whatever shit he wants to shove down there. And it's enough is a fucking enough. There are too many good people who've had really bad years. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Too many people, good or bad, who've had terrible years. Let us hope that the next one is good. Part of where this is all coming from today is that this week I've lost two friends. One, both out of going to drama school. And the first is Carmen de Lavalade, one of the great dancers of our time, an extraordinary and exceptional woman, a woman that our executive could have learned a great deal from, just by being in her presence. Stunning. Worked in the Alvin Ailey Dance Company, and then was a teacher at the drama school at Yale, where I went. I don't like to mention it because people are, and no, what was important was the people I met there, not the institution. But it helped that the institution was there because that's what attracted the people to come there. And Carmen was exquisite and a wonderful actress and just an exceptional human being. And I'm deeply saddened by her loss. We are less because she has left us, and we are less because my friend Michael Whaley, who came out of I'm going to use the word you never hear, the dramaturg program at the drama school, the one who kind of, I don't even know how to explain it to somebody who doesn't work in the theater, but it's someone who really kind of, I'm looking for the word that would, that might give you a sense of it. It's the quality control inspector. That's really what they do. And they can work with the writer in terms of of making it a better script. They work with the director in terms of doing better in terms of the direction or a way in which a line might be spoken. In terms of the whole production. They are the ones. They are the eyes. They are the audience comes in with that kind of, hey, this will be great. And wants it to be great. The dramaturg is someone who wants to make it great. And Michael did. He made life greater and better. And I was better for knowing him and spending time with him. And he was involved in one of the outside of the world of theater. He and my friends, my friends Mary Lynn and himself, and you're not going to believe, we catered a wedding. Mary Lynn could cook, and then Michael and I kind of helped do serving and stuff. It was really unbelievable. I don't know if that couple has lasted because of what we did, but it was always great to have him around. He was funny, and the word mischievous comes to mind. And he lived in Spring Green in Wisconsin. Came from Wausau. I know a ton of people from Michigan, and he was the Wisconsin guy. And and even out there, he worked with a kind of a theater out there that was really kind of known for its quality. He raised a beautiful family, and as with Carmen, we are less by his passing. As Carmen, I was reminded today, called it. When someone died, she said they went on tour. And both of them have done that. I want to wish you all a very, very happy New Year. I'm hoping this year really is spectacular. I'm hoping this year shocks us. Shocks us by not it being shocking in the sense of what we have just lived through and had to watch and dealing with what has been done in our name. And finally it turns. And finally we get back to being who we are and what we should be. And the importance of caring about each other, which is the bottom fucking line to everything. It's what makes us better if we care. I hope this is the year that we start to care again. I hope this is the year that we figure out that it's not just about us. It's not just about you or me. It's about all of us, the whole fucking planet. Okay? The reason we went to the moon was to look back and see that we are one whole group of people on that small little orb. And let's start acting like it again. I hope that's what happens this year. I hope that for all of us. I hope it's a year that we wake up and we could actually smile in the morning, except for the fact that it's early and we got shit to do. I hope that that's the most of our problems, is trying to stay up and to stay on top of what the work is. Like, I've got to come up with this Rantcast every week. And I thank you for making it easier by writing such splendid pieces. And I look forward to more of them. I'll be doing a live one here in New York City in a very small venue, and you'll be hearing more about that. And we'll see how that goes, and then we'll see if more will be done down the road. I hope so. They certainly will be done when I do my shows out in Rockford and Gary, Indiana. Rockford, Illinois, too. So thank you again for the privilege and the pleasure of spending time with you. Take care of each other. That's really what's important. That's really what counts. Happy New Year. And here we go from Soren F. Youngish, newish father in Kansas here. I've recently learned all of my much older co-workers think my children are spoiled because I don't beat them. What the fuck? You all have the audacity not only to say my kids will grow up to be shitheads because I don't use physical discipline, but that all of you homophobic, racist pieces of shit turned out good because of the beating? Huh? I'm not saying that there should be consequences and punishments for kids. My wife is a high school English teacher, and the story she tells me about how her students treat her makes my blood boil. But y'all are out here punching kids? These same coworkers were also telling me to my face that my grandmother shouldn't get her SNAP benefits on their dime. You want to fuck with people's food? My grandma's food? My grandma is lucky in that she can fall back on what my family and I can spare. But what about people who don't have that luxury? Huh? I was raised by a single mother on SNAP. Huh? Should I have just fucked off and died when I was a kid? Oh. Thank you for letting me rant here instead of going on a rampage and breaking my ancient co-workers' matchstick skeletons. Whew. Ooh. Wow. I'd like to thank you, Soren, and it's unbelievable. I mean, you think they're going, boy, you know, things are better back then, and I didn't think beating was a part of it. Jessica McKay has brought up something interesting, and she's angry, and she's got a right to be. Dear Louis, my mother is dead, yet the vultures of the world keep trying to sell her shit. I've notified Social Security, I've canceled her credit cards, I've unsubscribed her from every membership she ever had. And still, the emails keep coming. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, random garbage from places she never subscribed to in the first place. It never fucking ends. Now her condo association wants to fine her for refusing to let inspectors in to check the carbon monoxide detector. They don't seem to understand the concept of death. How many times do I have to explain it? What I really want to know is, when we die, when do we get to be left the fuck alone? Good question, Jessica. Thank you for sharing. I know when my mother passed, there's some things I'm still getting, but I asked to still get them. But this is, I hope they're able to check out the carbon monoxide. Wow. You'd at least think the condo association would have some idea. Wow. Thank you, Jessica McKay. Thank you very much. And this comes to us from, I'm going to leave you anonymous again, sir, because you asked for it the first time. And I usually don't read, if there's been a rant, I usually wait more than a few months before I read another rant, but from the same person. But I thought this was interesting. Mr. Black, this isn't a rant, but a thank you letter, an update of sorts. I deeply appreciate you reading my rant on your Rantcast and keeping me anonymous. Number 230, specifically the last rant. I'm the one that said I put a bullet in my country's head. I could tell you disagreed with me on several or maybe all of my points. The fact that you read my rant, even though you hold differing or contrary positions, makes me all the more grateful. It meant a lot to me. We need much more of that in this world. It did help a bit to get those thoughts off my chest. However, hearing them spoken back was jarring, to say the least. I sounded quite unhinged. I was in a dark place when I wrote that. I'm still in a dark place. But my eyes have adjusted, so to speak. I don't know that my opinions have changed much since I wrote my rant. I suspect not. But I no longer want to put the country out of its misery. I just try to disassociate as much as I can and pursue things that make me happy. I've simply stopped caring about the country. Whatever happens, happens. I don't expect you to read this on your Rantcast, but I am. But if you decide to, please keep me anonymous, which I did, with great respect. And I have it for you too, sir. Should you ever decide to have that argument over my original rant, I'd be happy to clarify. I have no interest in arguing about what's pissing people off, sir. None at all. And once again, I reiterate, I tell people, if you've got something to say, go ahead, get it out there. But rarely do I get stuff that comes from another side. And what's interesting, when I do, I don't get stuff from other folks coming back at them. It does not reflect what's going on Twitter. Every so often, but it's mostly about stuff like it has been peanut butter pickles, and maybe the occasional Rotary. Here's a long one, and I'm pleased to read it. Another one that remains anonymous. I'd like to start my rant off with a request. Please do not say my name on your show. I have the kind of job and live in a location where if my recent escapades were to become known, I would likely lose my damn shitty-ass job. When considering what I would like to rant about most, one thing instantly popped up into my mind: my unfortunate love life. I submit to you my most recent situationship and all the strife it has brought to my life. I've had a bad couple of years, which has culminated in me apparently deciding that intensifying my own suffering would be a great thing to do, for fun or some shit. I was married to an abusive man for almost 10 years, and our relationship ended in December of last year. That's good. By February, I was seeing someone else. The first guy who asked me out after the dissolution of my marriage. I started banging the shit out of him almost immediately, because why the fuck not? I jokingly said at the time, I've entered into my late 30s hoe stage, something that I'd always heard about, but never believed in until recently. Apparently, at the end of your peak fertility, some women become sexual deviants, perhaps trying to squeeze in one last twat dropping before it's too late. Well, I had a fucking hysterectomy 2 years ago. It's all fun for me from here on out. I don't even have to take a break for periods anymore. So I met this fucking dude at work. Let me tell you about this fucking guy, okay? If you would allow me to paint a picture for you of this man who has been fortunately unfortunate enough to cross paths with me, much to his dismay, I might add. Imagine, if you would, a middle-aged Joe Dirt / Kid Rock type. Alcoholic, long, brushed hair, 5'9", 180 pounds soaking wet. He fucking builds fences and does manual day labor type jobs for a living. Lives with his dad. The asshole, you know. A real fucking winner. So I start talking to this fucking country bumpkin out of boredom and figure out he's actually really funny and not nearly as ignorant as he appears. And the next thing you know, I've figured out he just so happens to have a huge cock. I mean, he's packing a niner. Not only is it huge, it's fucking beautiful, magnificent, really. It's like a heavenly light shines out of his pants, and I become instantly hypnotized. Side note, what's the deal with small guys having huge wangs? Like, why is that a thing, really? Not only is it gigantic and beautiful, he knows how to use it. And use it well he does. I mean, he really gets in there. Energetically and enthusiastically. I haven't been fucked like that since high school. So of course I've fallen into some kind of cock magic fuck spell, and I can't leave this guy alone. It's his fault, really, you know, for fucking me so good that it made me lose my mind. He didn't have to do me like that. He could have fucked me like I was just some fat whore, like most guys do. But no, this guy had to lay the smack down on me and make me see Jesus. I'm a Jew. It's almost like he had a point to prove or something. I don't know. Anyway, so this guy and I have been going back and forth since February, almost a year of this situationship / fuck buddies type arrangement. We'll be almost together for a couple of weeks, and then one or the two of us breaks it off for one reason or another. Him because he's still wanting to get back with his baby mama. Me because he's actually a huge asshole that treats me like shit. I mean, it's clear that he doesn't really like me like that, but I can't seem to walk away. Every time I try to end it, I start pining for that dick. And after 2 or 3 days, I'm hitting him up to come over and show me the business. Or I go out to his dad's place where we sneak around like we're fucking teenagers. Imagine 2 40-year-olds tiptoeing through the house, climbing through windows, hiding behind trees like fucking retards. What's even more retarded than that is that I seem to have fallen in love with this stupid asshole, even though it defies all logic and laws of physics. It's like my brain is stuck on him, and I can't get his cock out of my brain. I text him, and he leaves me on read, ignores me, ignores my calls. Then he'll appear again, and it's like nothing happened. He makes me come like 8 times, and then he's gone again until a week or 2 later. I'm not sure what else to say besides send help, because this situation is destroying me and my pussy. I feel like such a stupid whore to get myself into this situation. Why? Oh, why? Woe is me and all that shit. Help! Huh? Sincerely, Superho 5000. Well, Superho, thanks for sharing something that intimate. I would say, date around a little, just to this. If the guy is treating you like shit, except for I can't believe I'm Ann Landering. I'm kind of like Ann Landers here, who isn't even around anymore. I don't even know who's doing these kind of advice columns. But my advice is date around. Find people you at least have things in common with. So you've got, part of it is you got stuff in common with people, and the other part is you're banging the Jethro on the Beverly Hillbillies. And I cannot believe I've just made 2 references that put me back into the other century, and I'm tired of that. I really am. or the new Beavis and Butthead. Maybe that's who you're boning, as we've been wont to say. I just hope you can get out of this. You don't need to go from an abusive relationship to a really stupid one, okay? Try to find people. I don't even know what to say. Why am I trying to give this advice? I hope things turn out to be better than they are, that's for sure. Okay? Don't make yourself crazy over this. After 10 years of being treated like that, you were looking for diversion, and you found it. This comes to us from Thomas M Collichino. Hello, Lewis Black. My rant starts here. The only reason I still live in New York City is because my wife loves it here. If I was single in this era, I would have undoubtedly moved to Europe 5 or 10 years ago. I learned enough of a formal education to attempt to teach at the college level. Teaching is right next to parenting in so much as the preparations are never adequate, and there's a crap ton of things you just have to work through. It's like trying to improv while also needing to deliver lines in Shakespearean vernacular. And if that wasn't enough, you're not paid a living wage. Since I failed as a classroom teacher, I extrapolated that I would not fare well as a parent. But this conclusion is more based on the lack of finances available to my wife and me. Our ability to have our own biological children is all but over. My wife is 50 in less than a year, but this is not the end. My maternal grandparents were foster parents to over 100 people. I want to do for those children who have been separated or abducted or detained what my grandparents did for those who were simply unwanted. If these young people who are existing like cattle do not have psychological trauma and they don't grow up scarred or psychopathic, it will be a miracle. With more and more work turning remote, surely there are high-rises designed for corporations around the country that can be repurposed into shelters for the young, the misfortunate, the poor, or those otherwise in need of shelter. People are needed to make any economy grow. Certainly, human life is priceless, and though you can put a price on anything, only humility will save humanity. When are the international forces / courts / organizations finally going to police the United States? We desperately need an intervention. Thomas M. Collichino, sincerely from you. Collichino rhymes with cappuccino. I'm not quite sure you kind of went from one area to another, but you're doggone right. We really need to take care of our children. I was thinking about that this morning. We've got a ton of ads about foster parenting now here that they run in New York City in the morning when I'm bouncing from one channel to another, trying to avoid the news while watching the news. But I really enjoyed you. I believe that. What international forces are finally going to police us? It's really true. Now that we're trying to bring back the Monroe Doctrine, I heard that this morning. Insane. Thanks to all of you for listening to my Rantcast. If you have a rant you want to get off your chest, send it in to me at lewisblack.com/live. You can think of it as therapy, or whatever you want to think of it as. Just let it rip. And I want to thank the true stars of our show, the ranters, and the splendid rants they gave us. Lewis Black's Rantcast was created and hosted by me. Lewis Black. Our live rant audio was produced by James Salter. Our theme song by Chris Lane. Executive producer, Ben Brewer. Executive producers, Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly.